Second.
All in favor? Motion so carried. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, everybody. Welcome to the 2014 reorg meeting, and I would like to start the meeting by welcoming Dan Torres, our new council person, to the table, and welcome to your inauguration meeting.
Thank you.
And I would like to congratulate Councilman Logan on his reelection. And I would like to welcome Jean Gallucci back, Councilwoman Gallucci back, and hi, Rosanna.
Who never left you?
So, anyway, okay, so we did a motion to open, we did the pledge, so, we did the opening, okay. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda for the reorg meeting, which you were all sent?
So moved?
Do I have a second?
Give me a second.
Basically
Second.
what it does is-
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion so carried. Please note that Councilman Torres made his very first motion of his career on the town board.
Yeah, there you go. I'm on the minutes.
Okay. Does anybody have any announcements? Okay, I guess we'll save some for tomorrow. Oh, actually, was that thing from the Association of Towns an announcement or something we have to do as part of the reorg? You said we had to read that.
You should do it in the regular meeting tomorrow.
No, I think it was something that was at the, let me just double check. I think Roseanne had given it to us as something that we had to read at the reorg. Please read at the first 2014 town board meeting.
That's tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, it was just in the reorg. Okay, doke. Okay, so the first thing is Jeff's favorite thing, where Jeff always says to me that I only have to do the budget, nothing else.
That's it.
But the board will be making a motion, and I'm not sure if I'm going to accept it. I could have taken it out of the reorg, right? But it's a delegation of administrative duties to the supervisor. So pursuant to Town Law, Section 2916, resolved, Joe, how do you say if it says 29 and then in parentheses 16? It's Town Law, Section 29, in parentheses 16.
Section 29,
Subdivision 16, okay. Resolved that the town board of the town of New Paltz hereby authorizes and delegates the town supervisor's power and duties of day-to-day administration and supervision of all town and special district facilities and employees consistent with and in furtherance of any and all state and federal laws applicable thereto, and with any and all local laws, resolutions, or police hereto or hereafter adopted by this town board. Who would like to give me the responsibility of day-to-day?
So moved.
Who would like to second it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion so carried.
Aye.
Legal representation for the town. So, after all of these years, and all of these years, and all of these years, by the fact that Joseph Moriello Esquire is sitting in the audience, I gather he's still interested in being our town attorney. So, thank you, Joe, for your diligence and dedication to the town of New Paltz. Would someone like to make a motion to appoint Joe Moriello?
So moved.
Would somebody like a second?
Second?
Would anybody like to discuss? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion so carried. Congratulations. Okay. I'd like a motion to appoint William Wallens, Esquire of Robo Wallens Minot, as labor attorney.
So moved.
Do you want to
wanna do
run
them
through
all?
your list of attorneys?
Okay, so we'll do it. Joe Moriello, Esquire. I did Joe separately because he's here.
Okay.
William Wallens as our labor attorney. George Lithgow as our planning board attorney. Ken Bond, Esquire of Squire and Sanders as our bound counsel. And then we have the supervisors authorized to assign legal matters to attorney on a case-by-case basis.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. An engineer for the town, a motion to reappoint Dave Clauser as the engineer for the town.
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. A motion to make the New Paltz Times be designated as the official newspaper of the town. Backup newspaper Daily Freeman to be named for meeting notices.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay, you all have the fees.
Right.
There were a couple of, just a few changes where Laura added two things to the recycling fees, which has a little bit of a note on it. You guys, let me a sec. Okay, Stacy also made some changes, so, okay. Laura added, I added 2 items, contamination fee for people who throw their whole baggage of garbage in the recycling container, because we can clean it up. And the surrender fee to accommodate people who swear up and down it's perfectly good. Then we find it's rotted, moldy, and doesn't work. Most of the
Right.
material we scrutinize well enough that we don't get stuck, but occasionally we get stuck. We will also exercise discretion on items that we can recycle if they are sold. And so,
Contamination fee, and what was the other?
and the other one was a surrender fee,
Okay,
okay?
Wow.
So those were the changes that Laura made to hers.
okay.
I don't know if you want to do them one by one,
Can we do a lump,
Yes, but I just
Okay.
wanted to point out what changed,
if everybody's agreeable?
okay?
All right, so
Okay.
Stacy's, is she
No,
towing
Stacy-
fees, or is that
No,
Chris?
no, Stacy, okay, you want to do towing fees? The towing fees are basically what had gotten, was the chief, but the towing fees are what the town board went
Right.
through. We did a whole review.
Right.
There was that little subcommittee, hi Kevin, there was that little subcommittee.
Hi, Kevin.
And we had the towing fees adopted by this board, so it's the towing fees that were adopted when we went through that process after the cars got towed up at Springtown and up at Butterville. So there's no change for the towing fees.
There's no,
Here, follow
It's
along.
in
I do most of it, I got most of it.
Oh, did they change?
I'm
Oh, okay.
asking.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Maybe you're right.
asking.
You might be right.
Phone on mine.
Well, I guess it's these fees, let's see,
I was at the game.
proposed.
right.
Okay, so.
Oh, so, okay. It appears that he's segregating disabled vehicles from accident, impounds, and snow removal. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to?
Okay, so it appears that there's an addition of disabled vehicles under towing charges, separated out from accidents, impounds, and snow removal. And the towing charges will be $100 per day. Evenings, nights, weekends, and holidays will be $150. And then the storage fees, some language has been added, provided, however, that no storage shall be charged if the vehicle is picked up within 24 hours from the time of the call. That's actually good. And so long as the owner does pick up the vehicle prior to the end of the next business day of the licensee in which the vehicle was towed. Heavy-duty storage fee will be a maximum of $100 per day. I think they're all good.
Okay.
All right, what's the next thing you want to do?
Okay, the next one is the building department, and what Stacy said was, attached, please find my amended copy of the building department fee schedule. The current fee schedule has not been updated in a few years, and looking over it, I believe the following changes are necessary. 1, changing worded under note, at single-family residence and accessory buildings, all work to include decks. The purpose for this change is that the headline includes all work, and clearly that includes decks.
Yes.
Okay? Change the word from decks for new construction and alterations to just decks.
Okay.
Added section, new commercial and multifamily uses and associated fees. I've researched the fees of surrounding towns. The proposed schedule is consistent with the town of Lloyd and the town of Ulster. I believe a fee based on square footage is much more appropriate than using a cubic foot method. Okay, and she did that because before, it was all just cubic foot, and she said that a warehouse, you fill it up, but like a residential or multi-use, that the rooms are not filled up, and so it should be done by square feet, not by cubic feet, and she felt it needed to be changed, and we'd be getting better, that's what she made the suggestion. And then she said, change wording of building and non-residential to warehouse and high-pile storage buildings. The purpose for this change is that the fee schedule is based on cubic feet. A cubic foot calculation is appropriate for warehouses and high-pile storage buildings, but not necessarily office buildings and the like. Okay? Again, she doesn't want an office building being done on cubic feet. She wants it on square feet, okay? Because it's not piled high. And then she added the section, steep slope permit. The local law requires the building, what'd you say, your office is pilot? But yours isn't, Joe, I've been there. Almost, but not exactly. Added section steep slope permit. The local law requires the building department in conjunction with the town engineer to review and issue steep slope permits if the applicant is not within the jurisdiction of the planning board, zoning board, or town board. I feel this fee will cover the cost of the initial review to determine if the applicant needs to move forward as provided by in the code. I have discussed this with Dave Clauser, and we're in agreement that the proposed fee is appropriate. So those were the changes that she made to the building department fees. Okay? Anybody
Okay.
have questions?
Oh,
Okay. Zoning board fees. I don't think there were changes that were made. Okay, zoning board fees. So if anybody wants to just take a quick look. They didn't talk to you about changing any of the fees for the zoning board? Okay, so if everybody's okay with that, I'll move on to Parkland deposit. Fees to continue at $5,500, paid when the final approval is given by the planning board for each new lot or housing unit created with the exception of accessory apartments. I don't know if anybody wants to change that, talk about it, or just keep it.
well, Are you referring to what they have on here as a recreation trust fund fee in lieu of parkland set aside?
No, we're up to Parkland deposit fee, which is different than the planning board fees.
I don't,
So, $5,500 for each additional lot created by subdivision, or each dwelling unit created by site plan, with the exception of the accessory apartments, which shall be $1,000 unless otherwise determined by town board.
okay. So
says in
where
lieu
is
of
the,
parkland set
right,
aside.
where is the parkland deposit? Is it in zoning?
Well, the Parkland is here on this, so maybe she's saying to take that out and put this in place?
No. You mean to replace that? No.
Seems a little high.
Well, it's the same thing, $5,500 Parkland deposit fees to continue at $55,000 paid when final approval is given by planning board.
500 paid without.
When's the
Approval's
last time we
given.
collected one of those?
It would be planning or zoning who would know, or the bookkeeper.
I'm trying to think, well, we haven't,
Before your administration, first one?
my administration, my first one? I can't
Okay.
answer that.
Okay.
I think 5,500 is kind of high, to be honest with you. When I look at other towns, it seems kind of high.
But it's 5,500 for each additional lot created by the
Or
subdivision.
dwelling.
So you have the subdivision creation, and if you're going to create an additional lot, that's where you start paying the
So let me ask you a
5,500.
question. You do a 20-lot subdivision. Are you paying 20 times 5,500?
That, I don't know, so maybe you want to take that out and
Okay,
go to the
so-
planning board and have them explain
Okay.
it to Kevin.
So we're going to, go ahead. Well, so this is what, it's come over, if you want to come up here. This is what's in the planning board fee schedule, and on the back, yeah, no, I know, but that's okay.
All right, so,
But we have a packed loan deposit fee that we just approved, that $5,500 paid when final approval is given.
Right.
But now there's that thing in there. By the planning board for each new lot or housing unit created. But then again, Kevin, that's how we have all this money to do the Field of Dreams and everything that we do, is that money we use to fix Moriello Pool. We use that money to build the Field of Dreams.
So, I
We use
mean,
that
Kevin,
money.
we did collect it, for example, there was a 14, 16 lot subdivision off Shivers, so we did collect it. So yes, it has been collected. There's been waivers on it too, though. They give
And
space.
see, and that's part of the problem. One of the things we talked about was that, like what happened at Len Drive, where they have that little pocket park, but who really uses it, and we have to maintain it.
Right.
And so what happens is the planning board can do, they can give land in place of paying the fund, and we said we'd rather have the fund, we don't want that land anymore, because it's just extra work for Chris to have to maintain.
Okay.
And we're spending the Parkland Fund, so.
And actually, it's actually us, Gene, help me if you recall this, I believe it's also the responsibility of the town board to collect that fee, not the planning board. Is that ring a bell?
Frankly, as a town board member, I would not be aware of the planning board, unless I was the planning liaison sitting at their meeting. I would not be aware that they have sanctioned a builder to turn that money into us. So, no, I would say it is the planning and the building department's responsibility to collect that fee, in my opinion.
Before they issue site plan approval
That, yes.
or issue a building permit.
Oh, there should be no CO without the payment.
Building permit, though, the beginning.
Okay, but if they got started, there should be no CO without the payment.
Oh, definitely,
Right,
right.
right.
Now, also, some of them.
I'm with you.
So if you use the example of an applicant in front of us right now, they're going to be building a recreation building and a pool. So there'll be no fees collected there because they're providing recreation to their own development.
Well, I don't know if
So-
that's been decided, but yes.
If it is decided, so,
Recreation town, for the entire town?
that's not a requirement of the law. A requirement of the law is that it's recreation.
Oh, for that development?
For that development.
For that development, correct, right.
And that's happened several times,
The
too.
$5,500 fee is for the creation of any new lot or dwelling unit. So if Park Point is 432 dwelling units, how many is it? 223 dwelling units? 223? Are we
Yeah.
collecting that?
No,
No, they're building their own, they're building recreation there. They're building a clubhouse and a pool.
But is our planning board accepting the recreation they're building in lieu of 5,500 times 223?
Well, I don't know what the planning board's doing right now because they're going through their review right now. I
Right.
don't think that's been discussed or
Right.
decided. And how the planning board chooses to handle, how they choose to handle the recreation fee versus the recreation they're putting in and what they negotiate and do is within their purview. The question is the fee as set right now and if we want to accept it or not. Do you have an
Well, this is a fee that
opinion?
Can I just check on
Sure.
that with Kelly tomorrow?
Yeah, we can save that for tomorrow. Yeah.
I can't really speak for
Yeah.
the planning board.
So why don't we hold off at least on that one fee until tomorrow?
Can I just ask one other
Sure.
question about that? Jeff said we've collected on this fee
$1 million.
at one point
Oh,
as
we
well?
have,
So we have
no, we've collected, we have, right, the money goes up and down because we collect.
cheaper to come
But, and this parkland fee can only be used, it's restricted, and it can only be used for recreational purposes, but it's construction, it's not really maintenance per se, it's capital projects, okay?
yeah.
So what ends up happening, so like right now, a lot of the work that we've been doing at the pool on this brand-new pump, instead of taking taxpayers' money, we take it out of this recreation fund because it's a capital improvement. A lot of the work we've done out at the Field of Dreams, like we just built a pavilion, we took that money out of the Parkland Fund. That money gets replenished when projects come in, but that's money for us to help to invest in recreation in the community. So yeah, we do collect it, and we've had lots of money at certain times, and we spent lots of money.
Gotcha.
So
I don't want to speak for the.
Okay,
let's,
so
let's,
we'll get clarification.
we'll get more clarification for tomorrow night, and we could add it tomorrow night.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that's
thank you,
just
Joe.
the subdivision fee.
So we're gonna, do you want to adopt the planning board, but without this parkland thing for the moment? Or do you want to hold off until tomorrow?
Well, I would,
Just take that out.
That's why I said we could
right,
take that
I
out.
would be in favor of the fee schedule, and we'll just revisit the
Right,
rec fee
right.
tomorrow.
Right,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay, so you want to take up the next one?
yes. Towing fee we did, right? Oh, the town clerk fees.
Okay.
We substituted
Yep.
towing for town clerk.
Okay.
So Rosanna, did you change it? You didn't want to change anything? Okay, so town clerk didn't change anything?
Can I ask you a question about the fees?
Sure,
as well?
please.
Sure, so the asterisk, that's a state agency mandated fee, so does that mean that these other fees, these go to the town, whereas these other numbers are just what the state comes up with?
Well, part of. Which one would you believe?
Now you have marriage licenses,
Well,
yeah.
part of that fee goes to town, part of it goes to the state.
Okay.
But,
They get a certain portion of it.
Mhm.
They get a certified.
Okay.
Well, I think what Dan, if I can jump in, is asking, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 things that have stars that say state agency mandated fee. So each one of them is different relative to what the state gets and what the town gets.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what that,
That's what we have to charge.
okay, all right.
And then in some cases, the state gets part of it and the town gets.
So then the asterisk just designates what the state is required to charge, whereas the rest is what the town comes up with on their own. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Highway fees, water and sewer. Chris, did you, so rates will remain in effect until further notice? Would-
Even though it's official, that's not my right. Okay.
Well,
I see, gotta go right.
Okay, for highway department, we have, we only have a driveway permit fee of $150. And then for water, we have industrial, commercial, residential, new construction, industrial, commercial, residential, service restoration fee, sewer, new construction, inspection fee, and then we have the rates for Water District 1, Water District 3, all those rates. So for right now, you're just,
That statement said except for the restoration fee in water and sewer, it should go from $25 to $50.
which you put into your thing that was submitted, right?
I had restated Carol.
But I just want to make,
That's one.
which I want to make sure the one that we have,
About a week away to look at my,
service restoration fee, commercial went to $50.
so thanks, Aaron. Thanks.
You have a service,
Residential, is water and sewer restoration fee should, what is 25, it should go to 50.
okay, that's on here. Yeah.
okay,
Now, also, the water and sewer rates. These are water and sewer rates that went into effect January 1st, 2012. And I thought during the course of the year, did we not do I thought we did, do an increase, a public hearing.
Yes, those are not the correct rates.
When, do you remember when? Because this is,
so we have to,
okay, can we pull out the correct water and sewer for tomorrow night?
yeah, we'll do that tomorrow.
Thank you.
And then we have the $25 fee to be charged for all return checks.
Really? Yay. Did you put that in? The $25 return check fee?
No.
Oh, who put that in? I like that.
It's been, this is a shell.
It wasn't in effect when I was here.
Okay, so we'll do the parkland tomorrow, and we'll get the, make sure we have the right water ones, and so,
Okay, well, did you want to do this?
oh, the rate structure.
Is this rear?
Oh, that's not on here.
Real?
That was what Jeff and Kevin worked on last year,
That's last year's, yeah.
and
Because, you
we
know, I'm
actually don't-
surprised too, you know, this one,
You know what,
this
so,
isn't the way, I'm looking at this,
you know what, it's because we never did it before at the organizational meeting where we accepted those fees, we did that as a
Oh,
process.
so it's not in your shell?
So it's not in the shell, because
Okay.
we did it independently, where we did a whole review,
Add it
and we
to your
changed
shell.
it, so now we're going
Right.
to add it to the shell.
Okay.
and I'm surprised too, the new water rates, we did a, Roseanne published those too, so we definitely have those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these,
Yeah,
these have
yes.
Marion's name on, so they're definitely not the right.
Yeah, no, definitely, so we
No,
have to
'cause I
just,
did a lot-
Okay.
we did a lot of work with Clouser on that.
you never got the, well, Chrissy,
It's in the code book. But you wouldn't have one of those.
No, I did, I just don't have that updated.
do you,
Meaning,
do you guys want to make any changes to the community center, or you want to accept that and review it?
I'm good with the community center one, I'm good with the community center. Yeah, I'm good with no
The
change.
only thing with the community center that, Chris, did you, the cleaning fee?
We talked about
Okay. See,
Is it becoming an issue?
it's not enough money.
that. The only issue is sometimes we have to bring some in on a weekend.
carpet cleaning.
Chuck is double booked.
Well, that was the point of the deposit. The deposit left on it was that the people were gonna leave it in the same condition they found it as. And if they don't, then we keep part of the deposit to pay for the cleaner.
The problem is,
I agree with you, that's not my department, I just have to supply the cleaner, and that, the cleaner, his fee comes out of the trust budget.
I think part of the problem, though, was that you bring somebody in time and a half, and so the amount of time that he has to spend there exceeds what we're putting in as a deposit, and I think that's what became the problem.
I don't, well, we need to increase the deposit.
I think that's what we talked about, you and I.
Sometimes it's Saturdays, time and a half.
What's, how many hours
Sundays, which is double time.
Well, we charge
How
$50
many
for
hours?
deposit.
to clean?
It's a 2-hour minimum.
Minimum, because you're calling them in on the weekend.
So do we want
So-
to just then amend the deposit for those 2 days?
And then also simultaneously, what a lot of people, what people say is, for the $50, they could trash the place and just say, you know what, it's easier for me to just lose the $50 and not have to worry about cleaning up, and so,
What about a $150 deposit, and you'll get it back after we inspect the room?
Places I've rented, it's been more than that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's kind of like what Rosendale does.
I second $150.
okay, so it's a $150
Well, I
cleaning
second
fee.
that. Everyone concur?
Oh.
Now, I'm sorry, what does Rosendale charge?
Well, I'll make that a motion.
Oh, then I'll second that motion.
Oh, okay, so Rosendale's significantly higher than ours,
How much do they charge?
so 253.
One of my guys,
What'd you say?
I thought it was like $250, $300.
Oh,
Okay,
I thought I heard him say
we
600.
can't let Rosendale beat us, so.
No, Jeff wants,
That much, it's not
Yeah.
cleaner, of course, for the weekend.
So the,
Okay.
I mean, you don't
But
want
that's
to make
only
it,
if they're double booked. Otherwise, you'll clean it at standard rate. It would happen Monday morning. So
You're just doing Monday.
if there's nothing happening
Right.
later
If something
Saturday.
Saturday and Sunday, I have to clean it either Saturday night or Sunday morning.
Okay.
and that happens a lot, because the place is booked an awful lot.
So are we then wanting to change the deposit for the entire week, or do we want to just change it for those days where the
I
cleaning?
think we should just, I think we should charge it 150, because the truth of the matter is, even if we're not paying overtime, if somebody trashes a place, it's going to cost a lot more than $50 to
Yeah.
clean.
and this is from when we rent it out, right? Okay, so it's not for like during the week when we have the seniors here, Meals on Wheels, low-key activities.
People,
It's,
this
right,
is a private event where
Okay.
somebody rents it.
All right.
all right, so you have the money to rent the venue, and you'll get your 150 back if you're considerate.
Okay.
Okay?
In a lot of places, they provide you with a room and stuff.
Right, but, you know, you use the kitchen, you clean the kitchen.
Yeah, can I actually ask
Sure,
one other question
sure.
on this? Because I just had this with a group that, the Pride Parade group, and asked me about this. So in the event that someone creates a big mess and we're going to take some of their deposit, do we give them a receipt to show exactly why we did that?
Again, that's not.
That's Chuck?
Yeah, I just-
That's,
yeah, it's
okay.
Chuck. I just provide the cleaner.
All right.
So,
To my knowledge, no, we don't do that. It comes out of his budget.
Okay.
I send my guy over, Chuck pays for it out of his budget for cleaning. And, so, if there's any issue.
Okay.
We're gonna have, if we start taking any, they know that it goes to the government.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to give them some kind of.
Yeah, just some form of documentation, so.
Photograph, you know.
Yeah,
You all carry digital cameras.
I just think that might be a nice way to protect ourselves from that scenario, just so we can say, well, this is why we did it, when someone else's party does something and we don't charge them. Yeah, okay.
Some gets a bug up their butt, goes, other places a mess.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Can I just ask a question? Could the audience out watching TV hear him? Or does the microphone, not really? What? It'd be better if he came up front or took the microphone, right? Okay. So when you keep talking, Chris, grab the microphone. 'cause-
Everyone at home thinks I'm talking
He
to
really,
myself.
you should really sit next to Rosanna at these meetings, because she really participates so much that you should really be our sixth board member.
Gotta be here just in case.
Right, okay. So Jean made a motion to increase the cleaning fee to 150. Jeff seconded. Is there any more discussion?
just add the word private between the words all and events, all private events or programs, right? At the bottom?
Oh, Susan took it, I don't have, oh, here it is.
Okay?
Where?
At the bottom where
Where?
it says the cleaning fee is for private events. Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motions are carried. In regards to all the fees, a motion to accept all the fees as recommended.
So moved.
A second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion so carried. Okay, investment of town funds. Who would like to make a motion to empower the supervisor to invest funds in the official depository, and that all certificate deposits be covered by pledged government securities in the amount of the certificates of deposit or approved by state collateral? There must be placed in escrow accounts in another bank or placed in a safe deposit box under the town board control.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. The third and fourth Thursday of each month will be designated as town board business meetings. There will be no town board meeting on Thursday, November 27th, Thanksgiving, and December 25th, Christmas Day. The town board meetings will begin at 7:30 PM, and the agenda will be ready by 5 PM on the preceding Tuesday. Public hearings will generally begin at 7:15 unless otherwise noticed, with the board meeting to follow. If an additional meeting is needed, the supervisor has the authority to schedule the first Thursday night of the month. Would somebody like to move the meeting schedule?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And who would like to make a motion to adopt Robert's Rules of Order?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Holiday schedule. Town employees not covered by collective bargaining unit contract shall be paid for holidays adopted at the Town of New Paltz Organizational Meeting 2014. Holidays are New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, President's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day after, Christmas Day after, and a floating holiday.
Yeah, that's what she said, yeah.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay, general personal policies. Regarding equal opportunity and affirmative action, the town will follow the guidelines of Ulster County personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Board, do you want to run through your policies? Are they listed? Boom, boom, boom?
In terms of, you want me to read this all and just keep going? Let me just look for, I want to see something. Well, we have, so what do you mean, Jean? I mean, we have the procedure for making appointments for committee, commissions, and boards. We have all of that stuff, filling vacancies. We have the appointments, safety program, cash funds.
All right. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. But what I don't see in here is the personal policy itself, which is a conversation to have. We took it out of the shell? I did? I mean, I know we're not going to adopt it tonight, but
Maybe because we weren't ready.
I was going to talk about it. Okay. Okay.
Well, now you can't.
Well, why don't I just talk about it really quickly before, and then just really, really quickly, since it's not in the shell.
No, it's not in there. You can't. Sorry.
You can't-
It's
Let's talk about it tomorrow, then.
Okay, I will.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. You took it out.
We'll talk it out.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay. We made the motion on the holidays? Okay,
We
you did
did.
the equal
We did.
opportunity. Department
No,
heads.
we're
and-
doing equal opportunity, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay.
Department heads and elected officials will submit monthly reports by the second Tuesday of the month in time
No,
for...
we're doing equal opportunity. So moved.
You already did that.
We didn't, did we?
Yes.
Equal opportunity. She started it.
Second.
There's no motion to that.
There is no motion.
Oh,
It's, well, let's make the motion.
I'd like to make a motion.
I thought it was a policy.
Second.
Didn't you start out with there's a policy? We're going to follow the equal opportunity policy of Ulster County?
In the personal policy that we will adopt at some point, there is a whole thing about equal opportunity, and we will adopt the policy. But right now, in the shell of the reorg meeting that you've done for years and years and years, it just says, general personal policies regarding equal opportunity and affirmative action, the town will follow the guidelines of the Ulster County personnel.
Oh, no wonder you never had one. Oh, God.
Did you, that was last year that you pulled
Oh,
out?
my,
This is last year's and the year before and the year before and the year before.
okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm back with you, Susan.
Okay.
It just took me a minute.
However, I will say that in the personal policy that we will adopt, there is a whole thing about equal opportunity and affirmative action. But right now, there is a statement in the org, but why don't we
Okay.
do it as a motion? And next year's reorg meeting, it will be a motion.
There's a first and a
Right.
second on the
Yeah, we have. a
Right.
motion on
Right, all in favor?
Aye.
that. Aye.
Motion so carried.
Aye.
Okay, now this is I think, okay, department heads and elected officials will submit monthly reports by the second Tuesday of the month in the time for review at the regular monthly workshop meeting, and that the supervisor can request additional reports from department heads at any time. Do you want to do that as a motion to just make it as a policy?
Do we have a shell for those reports yet?
What we have to do is, we have had a discussion with, was it with Bill or just with, okay, there are people who are now foiling our monthly reports. Okay? And so what we have to do in order to comply with open meetings is all of the finances and all the budget stuff in a committee report is public documentation. It's foilable. But inter-office information between, the department heads and the board is not necessarily foilable. So, for example, the justice court's reports of who got arrested might not be
Right.
foilable. Some of the police information might not be foilable. So what we have to do is myself, Rosanna, and Carol have to set up a meeting to sit down and take all of the committee reports, come up with a shell that we ask every department to follow for the foilable stuff, and then come up with a separate committee report structure that's not foilable to be compliant with open meetings.
Right,
So
'cause
we
it-
have not done that yet because we have not had time since I've been away and just got back.
Well, it sounds like what they're putting in their reports, if it's foilable, shouldn't be in their monthly report.
Well, for the board to know what's going on with the committees. Well, for
It's
example-
fine, but you know what, as a board member, I don't need names, I don't need that. I need the information, but I don't need the names, I don't need social security numbers on people who were arrested or brought in or anything like that. I just need the information. And so I think that creating shells per department would be real simple. To me, the youth center is a head count. How many kids came? How many kids were tutored? How many tutors did you have from SUNY? I just think it's pretty simple. And also very foilable and able to be put on the website.
Well, that's-
And it doesn't have any kids' names, it doesn't have any police names. I don't know, it doesn't seem
I
difficult.
mean, you can redact, and we have an attorney here, but anything that's what is it, to phrase, reasonably separable from a document. So, for example, though, if you use court records, actually, Susan, no, all of those are public documents because an arrest record is a public document. So actually, those all would be public
I
documents.
don't know.
Okay,
can
but
go a lot
seriously?
further.
Oh, okay.
So anything
No,
that
I,
Wait a second,
Anyone is
please.
arrested, so
Can you
if-
both stop for a second? Joe was about to
Sure.
say something. Okay.
I don't know that you can say all court records are.
That is correct, yes.
That all court records are necessarily available under FOIA. Because courts aren't subject to FOIA.
Right.
Different rules. I know that one of the issues is about what you get from the courts in these reports. Before you finalize that policy, you may want to speak again to your judges, because if I understand it correctly, the way they generate their reports, their computer program or system or whatever, generates it a certain way, and
Right.
to generate it a different way may take some considerable effort.
right, which is why I want simple head counts,
Yeah,
you know.
To talk to them about
Right.
what kind of report you
Yeah, I
have,
think I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
before you finalize it, because I know they have some specific issues.
Thank you, Joe.
No.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks. So basically, what we're really actually saying is that we want reports by the second Tuesday of the month in time for review for the regular.
Oh,
Now, usually, I mean, technically, we have a workshop meeting, we're supposed to discuss committees at the workshop
Right.
meetings. We get the committee reports. In the past, we've never gotten them in a timely manner, and people haven't gotten them in time to read them, to discuss if they wanted to. So we put in place last year a policy that department heads and elected officials needed to give us the monthly reports by the second Tuesday of the month, so it could be reviewed at the workshop meeting, you guys have time to read it. Okay, so that's all we're really adopting right now, is
Okay.
saying to them, however, we are going the extra
All
step,
right.
because we have to review what these reports now look what these reports should be saying and could be saying, because, you know, they should go up on the website. They should be foilable. But right now, we're getting stuff from some of the reports that might have information in it that is, we would be breaking people's privacy if we actually took everything we get
Right.
right now and put it up on the website. Okay? So all we're asking really is just that, you know, we agree that we want the reports the second Tuesday
Sure,
of the month.
so moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay. The town board hereby fixes the salaries of the following elected officials. I can read them all, but they are in the budget. We approved the budget, so it's up to you guys if you want me to read them or what you want me to do.
You read them.
Okay, town supervisor, $50,786. Deputy supervisor, $9,000. Town council, 3 people at $6,851. Town highway superintendent at $44,290. The building department water and sewer stipend for $19,500. Town clerk, $42,000. Town justices each get $28,500. I don't think we need a motion because that was in the budget, we approved it.
Right.
The following salary positions will be paid the salary for the year beginning 2014. Assessor, $41,800. Building inspector, $50,000. Oh, well, when the building inspector comes out, right, because she's not a salaried position, she's in the union. And she gets overtime. Recreation director, $18,000. Youth center director, $49,500. We're adding the pool director because it's a salaried, right. And what did I have on the,
10,506.
okay.
Okay, well, hold on.
But we don't need to,
Then in that case, we want to add confidential secretary, because it's salaried, correct? Is it not salaried? It's not on a
No,
timesheet anymore.
well then, but hers are also, okay. Okay. but-
Hers are not salaried.
Okay.
They're hourly, non-union.
Okay. So then we should add her.
Am I right, Rosanna?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I didn't think of that, Jean, sorry, but I don't actually have her pay here, so we could, we're not voting on this, we're just putting it into the
Okay.
organization minutes, okay?
All right.
We will add that when we added the pool director, and we're taking out the building inspector,
Yes.
because we're
Okay,
trying to,
you're right.
okay?
Mhm.
All hourly paid town employees not bound by other contracts receive time and a half for overtime, over 40 hours worked in a given week. In the event an employee is called back after work for overtime, he will receive a minimum of 2 hours' pay. Set at the rate of $800 per year for the Assessment Board of Review members as part of the 2013 budget, to be paid, 2014 budget, to be paid upon the submission of a voucher with the approval of the chairman of the board. All town employees will be allowed current IRS standard mileage rate per mile for the use of their car in town business. Upon the submission of a voucher that has been approved by their department head, town employees should use available town vehicles when possible. And so those are all things that don't need a motion. This one is, a motion needs to be made to accept jury fees in the town court for $5 for serving and $1 for summons for jury duty. The board shall pay for services for court stenographer fees and criminal actions only, including preliminary hearings and/or examinations. So does somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
Does somebody want to second it? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Cash fund. We do have $300 retained by the tax collector in the cash drawer and a $50 petty cash fund. We have $50 for petty cash for the youth center and $250 petty cash fund for the highway department. And we didn't do that as a motion last time. It was just stated in the reorg, and we're not changing it. Is everybody okay with that? Somebody want to discuss it?
No,
That's not Jean.
we didn't have a problem this year, did we, Gene? There was no problem with that.
I'm not discussing it.
Okay.
I brought it up last year.
Okay.
That's your answer? Okay.
That's my answer.
Okay. Safety program. The town of New Paltz resolves to continue the safety program for the benefit of all employees. Each department head shall inform his or her employees of the provision of safety codes at his or her respective work location, and safety concerns will be brought to the office of the supervisor. Furthermore, material safety data sheets will be prominently available for all chemical substances stored within Town Hall, in the highway garage, in the Building and Grounds Department, at Moriello Pool, the recycling center, and all other locations required by OSHA. Okay? What?
He's right. Add Pesh.
Add PESH?
Add PESH.
Okay. Are required by OSHA and PESH, which is spelled out, it's the public employees. Safety,
They changed that protocol too. Now you can dedicate a terminal for that. Do it with a computer, which brings, it's a lot easier to stay compliant, because right now, I'll guarantee we're all out of compliance, except for highway garage, because we've already switched. Can't keep up on everything. And anyone in the town hall has to come to a training seminar for the new standards, which we just went through.
I know that we just posted something that we had to post, but I think that had to do with personnel stuff. We just posted something in the, all over,
Minimum wage.
of the minimum wage.
Yep.
No, I think it was more than just that.
Something
But
should probably also say the departments, the department heads with a PPE report for each of their employees signed off on.
It's Public Employee and Safety and Health.
Personal
Can't say-
protection.
Safety and health.
Yeah, Public Employees, I can see what you wrote, it's PESH. Oh, it is
Public
H, okay,
employees,
yeah,
safety and health,
yeah,
right, yeah.
and that's what PESH
But I just want to try to understand what you're saying, Chris. We're saying that we'll probably, we'll be posting these documents prominently in Town Hall, Highway, Building Grounds, Moriel Pool, Recycling Center. You're saying if we just post it on a computer, we'll be compliant?
As far as the MSDA
looking
sheets,
forward to
you
it.
can have, instead of updating a book,
But-
you can dedicate a terminal for that and tell the employees where that terminal is to get their information. This way you don't have to update anything that comes in town hall, chemical, you have to get a sheet, an MSD sheet, copy it, put it in the book, and just the opposite, anything that goes out that you don't use anymore, you have to take it out of the book to stay compliant. What the state's done is say, let's get rid of the book, let's put a terminal in, so any employee who has a question on anything that they're working with, bring it up on the site, and they're fine with that.
Okay, so when you say terminal, can we be publishing it on our website? Does that, or we have to have a separate?
A
No.
dedicated computer terminal.
Well, see,
Don't you have one at the Highway Department? You have the majority of hazardous materials.
Yeah, we just put one in.
Right,
You'd
there
be
might-
surprised what they call hazardous material.
Right, right. But they give you the ingredient list. And so what's up here, like some cleaning products, or do you keep them down at the Highway Garage now?
Majority of it, even like ink cartridges,
Oh,
stuff,
okay,
things of that nature.
okay. So,
She keeps with her, she should be doing a,
okay, but that's separate from the, the safety incidents that have to be posted throughout the town.
yes.
Yeah.
This
Right.
doesn't have to do with posting, this just had to do with the MS.
Right.
Streamline.
And you don't have to keep a binder anymore. That's great. That's good.
Okay, but right now, what we're doing is approving that it's going to be posted as sheets prominently. Chris is saying we could do it via terminal, so based on
No,
Chris...
only his PESH can be done by terminal.
Only the MSD
This.
sheet.
No,
Yes,
no, no.
okay.
Data sheets.
Right.
The MSD, so what I'm saying is if we want to, what we're doing right now is we're saying we're going to do it by posting the stuff in the respective work location. So we should change it, if he's got a terminal that he could dedicate it to, we should basically put it into our organizational meeting that this is going to be posted on a terminal at the highway department, and change the fact that we're actually posting
You
it.
would have to
Stored
have
within the
one
town.
also. A dedicated. or
Right. Well, don't you have a
computer so
dedicated
you can
terminal
log-
now? Don't you have a dedicated terminal now for the licenses
Yep,
that we just
that-
got? I'm just, we didn't get a new computer for this, for the,
Not yet. We are going to,
okay.
but it's only for
the licenses for the
Okay,
licensing.
you're right. This is the old language.
Right.
When it was in paper, in
Right.
hard copy. Right.
So if we're going to be changing the policy, we need to change the language and,
Right, you're right. And so maybe in the building department, they have their own there. In other
Does
words,
it have-
we don't have buildings and grounds here anymore.
no, we don't.
Okay. So
So-
that's who would have done it when
Right.
it was here. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So how do you want to change the language? So let's change, the town of New Paltz resolves to continue their safety program for the benefit of all employees. Each department head shall inform their employees of the provisions of the safety codes and his or her respective work location, and safety concerns will be brought to the office of the supervisor. Okay, that's fine. Furthermore, material safety data sheets will be prominently, so we should change that because
Take out prominently.
right,
Just will be available.
will be available for all chemical substances stored within town
Within-
hall.
there you go.
In the highway garage, in the building and grounds department. Can
Well,
you,
you could take out Buildings and Grounds Department because it's in the highway garage, right?
all chemical substance stored with town hall, all chemical substance stored for town hall, buildings and grounds, and the highway? Do you, because Memorial Pool stores their own stuff
Oh,
there.
Right. I would
So-
just, all right.
And the recycling center, she stores, does she have hazardous stuff, or she just accepts hazardous? She doesn't have anything, right?
I mean, it could be a can of paint,
Right,
spray paint, they
You're right.
consider that hazardous.
right.
If Pesh comes in and does an inspection, he picks up, and he's done it with me, he comes in and goes, you walk around the garage, find an indiscriminate thing, you go, I need the sheet on this.
Mhm.
And I have to produce it. And same thing is he'll pull a sheet out of the book, which mine's about 12 inches thick, and go, show me this chemical, is it still here? To see if I've updated the book. That's why it's just, you need a dedicated person to do it all the time, to keep up on everything that grows. So it's nice they came up with this, the computer thing.
Okay, so we're just trying to now, furthermore, material safety data sheet will be available for all chemical substances stored within. So now what we're trying to see is, what are you going to have on your terminal that's dedicated, so we could just get the right language in here?
We would have highways, buildings and grounds.
But not town hall. But we don't keep anything here.
I don't know what, I mean, Stacy might keep some paint. I mean, something like, you do have an MSD book here, and it's pretty thick. Honestly, I have
Uh-huh.
to see what is in the book.
Okay. Would you guys want to tomorrow night change the language in for the safety program after review with Stacy about what we have here? And maybe then we could actually even do it where we coordinate it, where it's, nothing is kept here, and it all goes up to the highway department, and then Chris can take, can take charge of it and stuff, and, I mean, the more compliant we can
Be
be.
like a central
Right,
disc,
right.
central.
The more compliant we can be, the better it is, and, we're just constantly trying to take care of all the problems of the past, so why don't we, let me review this with Stacy tomorrow and with Chris to see what we can do on the terminal, what we can dedicate to Chris, and then how we can figure out the other things in terms of what they have, what they do.
Okay.
So you and I can meet tomorrow with Stacy, and we can review this whole MSD and decide, okay, is that okay with everybody?
Fine with me.
Fine with me.
And then we'll just add that to tomorrow,
Okay,
okay, or
Yeah.
next week if has to be.
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just move off on that. Okay, so again, this is not a motion, but Rosanna is appointed as tax collector at a salary to be included in the town clerk's salary, and Rosanna shall be appointed as register of vital statistics at no pay. Okay, Carol Connolly is my assistant to the supervisor. Jill Schofelt is the dog control officer. Myself and Carol Connolly are the welfare officer and assistant welfare officer. Lori King is as the town assessor. Laura Petit as recycling coordinator. And Carol Connolly as emergency backup to Supervisor Zimmett. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's not the one. Carol Connolly as our, what was the term that the? Right, okay, so we have those appointments, and then I will be deciding what to do about a deputy supervisor, but not tonight. So for tonight's meeting, I'm appointing Jeff Logan as emergency backup if there's ever an emergency and I'm not around, and Jean Galucci to be backup for anything financial. And so that is, so it says we have to make a motion to accept the appointments.
You have to.
That's strange.
Do my appointments.
We have to do your appointments. We do the appointment for your deputies? Will we actually appoint your deputies? Even though they're your appointment?
You approve my appointments of
We approve it.
Okay, but they're not in here.
their mine.
They're not mine. So what, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I passed over it, I jumped over it, I'm sorry, Rosanna.
They're there.
You're right, okay. So what we need is a motion to appoint Christy DeWitt and Catherine Varuza as deputy clerks to be paid at an hourly rate of $16.98 an hour and $12.73 an hour respectively.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion so carried. Okay,
And I will approve all the other appointments.
okay. And so now we just need a motion to accept the appointments that I made.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, Dan beat
Dan
you.
did, that's fine.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay, procedure for making appointments to committees, commissions, and boards. Would you like me to read all this? I will read it. Procedure, well, we actually did make a change. So in the past, it was the supervisor's assistant who kept track of the appointees when they expired, who needed to be reappointed, how to get in touch with them. My assistant, Carol, since we've gotten into office, has been working harder than any one person with Rosanna to try to go back and see when different people in different committees were appointed, when their terms were up. We had a problem with the planning board last year where two people were up at the same time because it wasn't book kept correctly.
Wow.
So what we did was, most towns do have the town clerk keep track, and the town clerk is usually here a lot longer than the supervisor's assistants for consistency's sake, and so it really is a keeper of the records, and it should be. So Rosanna was willing to accept the responsibility of the one who will keep track of the appointments and get in touch with the people when they're about to be reappointed. Okay, so I'd like to thank Rosanna for doing that, and Carol and Rosanna have really been working on this for a long time, and it shouldn't have been this hard. When the term of office of an appointee expires, the town clerk will contact the individual whose term it is to ascertain if she wishes to be considered for reappointment. If the person accepts the invitation to be considered for reappointment, the town board will decide whether or not the reappointment will be made. Should the town board decide to seek additional applicants, the regular procedure for filling vacancies defined below will be followed. Procedure for resignations prior to expiration of terms of office. When a vacancy exists due to the resignation prior to the termination of term of office, the chairman of the committee, board, or commission will notify the town clerk in writing, who will inform the supervisor and ask that be put on the town board agenda to accept said resignation. The supervisor will notify the person that the resignation was accepted. The supervisor will add his or her thanks for the contribution to the town. The regular procedure for filling vacancies will be followed.
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
All resignations must be filed with my office with original signatures. That is the standard policy.
Must be filed with original signature with the town clerk. Okay, so the resignation from the person, you get the original. And we've also been really, really working very hard, Carol, myself, with Rosanna, to make sure that Rosanna actually has in her office all the appropriate records. So, for example, the wetlands lawsuit, I had a number of things from the attorney for the wetlands lawsuit, but they should not be kept in the supervisor's office. They should be with the clerk, because she's the keeper of the records, and that's where all the lawsuits need to be. So Carol has had Rosanna up going through, because there's a lawsuit, two legal files in Carol's office. There's a legal file in my office. So we've been having Rosanna come up and go through it and taking out all the original documentations that need to be with her to be in her. So again, we're trying to get on top of records and making sure she has it, which actually, Rosanna, in my copy, I think I have an old copy, when we want to make that, yeah, did we get to that in a little while? Okay. Should we try to do that now, since I brought it up, or is it, you have it in your shell later?
I have it in my shell later.
Okay. You know what, somehow I think I must not be using the, mine says newest shell, but it doesn't seem to be what you have. You have the newest shell, okay. Okay. If I missed something that you have the newest shell, let me know. Okay. Procedures for filling vacancies. The town clerk will prepare a press release, so we're adding in what Rosanna just asked for into our procedures, okay? We don't have to vote on it, we just need to add it in. Procedures for filling vacancies. The town clerk will prepare a press release notifying the newspaper of the vacancy and requesting that they notify the community. The chairman of the committee, board, or commission for which there is a vacancy will be notified. The notices will identify the vacancy, specify the term of office, and request a resume of anyone interested. The notice will also give a deadline by which these resumes are to be received. The entire town board will review resumes of, schedule appointments for, and hold interviews. Now, if you guys want to make any changes to this, just listen, because we can change it if we want, okay? The entire town board will review resumes, schedule appointments, and hold interviews with applicants to the planning board, zoning board of appeals, ENCB, historic preservation, CWASP, board, BAR, and ethics boards. Members of the respective board will also be invited to attend interviews. For other committees, the respective group will review the applicants and make a recommendation to the town board. The town board will vote on all appointments. Is everybody okay with that? Do they want to change it? Do they want to?
Yeah, is there a reason why we left some committees out?
We do commissions, and like, you know, the planning board's not a commission, but they're a legal board. So all the legal boards and the commissions, we do the interviews. If they're just like it's the recreation committee or the senior committee, the board doesn't have to go through basically interviewing people, but people who have legal status,
All right.
we do the interviews and the recommendations, and then we vote. And then everybody else for the other committees, we still appoint them, but we don't have to go through.
So
Like if we started interviewing all the people for like the senior committee we're going to create, or the rec committee, people might not want to serve.
So did I miss it? Was Bike Ped on there?
Bike Ped is not a commission or a legal committee.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay? Okay, so I do need a motion for that to accept the procedures.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, okay. Election personal fees to be paid by county. As required, reimbursement for the town should be accorded to the following schedule. Election inspectors, election day get $200, primary day $125, registration day $75. Machine custodians get $275 for election day and $275 for primary day. And this was established by the county, these fees? Yeah, so we don't have a, and then in here it says the town will provide X amount of money for primary and election day meals. I think we put it into the budget, if I remember correctly. So,
You read that again?
well, these are the fees for, that we pay the, whatever, but it does say in the past, you've done it as part of the org, how much you're going to pay for a primary and election, but I think we actually haven't approved it in the budget, if I remember correctly.
Just from, I would take that line, I'd like to take that line out.
Yeah, so we will take it out, and if it's not in the budget, we'll discuss it again when the time comes, okay? Does somebody like to make a motion to accept?
So moved.
A second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, the ethics law, we're going to be making a motion to accept that all elected officials, appointed officials, and other employees by the town shall be governed by the local ethics law, Chapter 15 of the Town Code, and are obligated to comply with its provisions. Financial disclosures must be filed annually with the town clerk by January 31st. As a reminder to all personnel, the supervisor shall circulate a memorandum. So, what I do want to say is that we have gone through revisions of the ethics law. We have not had, we've not finalized it, and so we do need to invite the Ethics Commission back. We need to review it again and then decide if we want to accept it, but for the moment, we're accepting what we have right now on the books.
So moved.
The second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and Rosanna, did you get my disclosure? It was put in your... Okay, we all have to do our disclosures, everybody, by January 31st. Okay? Freedom of information. The town clerk shall serve as information officer for the town of New Paltz and shall be responsible for complying with requests for information under the Freedom of Information law. Okay, we have a procurement policy, which you all have, and you have copies right now. Does anybody want to make any changes or just accept it as,
I have a problem with Schedule A.
okay?
It is outdated.
Would you like to,
Yes, I would like buildings and grounds, water and sewer, primary individual changed to Chris Marks, highway superintendent.
all right,
I don't know, who is your secondary individual? Okay, so then I would just like to remove the current secondary individual on there at this time. Recreation's okay. Highways, I would like to change it to Chris Marks, highway superintendent. The police department, on the second individual, I would like Steve Ozuchuk removed. Under town clerk, I would like Rosanna Mazzacari on there. Under planning board ZBA, I would like Laura Pettit removed as secretary and Kelly O'Donnell put in. Under bookkeeping payroll, I would like Patty Kane removed and Arlene Weber inserted. And under central purchasing, all departments, it says Guy Visk. So I'm assuming it's Carol.
yes, but it also had Tony Hokinson, and so you need to
Yeah,
add.
no, I didn't get there yet.
Oh.
But, so I would like that changed, and then additionally authorized for department committees, because committees can't do their own. I would like Tony Hokinson removed and Susan added. I would like Jeannie and Williams removed, and Guy Visk removed, and Carol added. You know what I mean, Rosanna, or do
Yeah,
you
no,
want
we
my
redid-
copy?
We redid that sheet, yeah.
You did?
What-
Well, I got an old one,
That's my
woman.
No, that's my handwriting is, oh, we changed it.
I just did this while I was
Did that?
sitting here.
Okay, Carol and I did it. Carol and I did it, so she must have made copies of the wrong one. We did that.
That's my motion.
Okay. I'm just wondering, though, how, we hadn't
This-
changed that in the past. I'm just saying
This,
that.
really? Because this is what Carol gave me tonight.
No, the funny thing is, when we pulled out the procurement policy, the credit card policy, the personnel policy to get this all together for this, we found that sheet. So it never got changed in the computer or whatever. So me and Carol made all the changes, but for some reason, you know, when she went back to the computer tonight to make copies because she
She didn't
thought you
save
had.
it.
No, it's probably on,
Oh.
it's on the website.
Oh.
And Carol posted everything on the website. But when you guys said that some of you didn't look at the website, Carol just went back to her document and just printed it.
Okay.
There's a corrected one on the website,
All right.
okay? So, anyway,
So
but you,
there was
but,
a motion, was there a
so there's a
second?
motion for the procurement policy.
Was there a second? right here? I will
I think
second
that was yesterday that there was a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Purchasing, we have a purchasing policy, right? Do you
That
want me to
was,
read this?
that was the
That was
procurement.
policy, now we have purchasing. All approved services rendered are to be paid through the submission of a voucher, and a voucher must be secured and approved by the supervisor prior to the purchase made or services rendered. In an emergency, the supervisor is authorized to grant purchase permission without a voucher. Payment of vouchers will comply with the previous policy. The superintendent of highways will be authorized to purchase equipment, tools, and implements without prior approval of the town board in the amount not to exceed $1,000 in any 1 year in accordance with Section 141 Subdivision 1A of the Highway Law. Procedures for the processing of vouchers and purchase orders must be followed as per the established town purchasing policy and the financial guide for the town highway superintendent of the State of New York Office of Controller. Would somebody like to make a motion to accept the purchasing procedure?
So moved.
Would somebody like to second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Maybe you'll make some motion tonight, Kev.
Yeah, join the party, man.
Using of
It's a
town,
lot of fun.
use of town hall meeting space, it's just the business of doing business, right? The use of town hall meeting room shall be limited to, now this, we should actually, let's talk about this a second. The use of town hall meeting room shall be limited to local nonprofit organizations, committees, the general public who reside in New Paltz, and the meeting shall be scheduled through the office of the town clerk. The town clerk will distribute keys for after-hour meetings and inform all groups of handicap access to the building, which is a real problem. In order to ensure the proper return of keys, a security deposit of $25 would be collected when keys are distributed and returned upon receipt of keys, which we actually implemented last year, and I think that's been working, right, Rosanna? So we had a problem in the past with a lot of keys not getting returned, and a lot of keys out there, so that's working. The only problem we have right now and how we want to handle it is when people use the meeting space, because the handicap accessibility is through the building inspector's office, and that
Right.
door has to be left
That's a problem,
open.
isn't it?
That what happens is a lot of people who have kids here, or the public
No.
goes in there, they use that office, they sit there, they, mess up a lot of, the stuff that's on the desk, and I don't really know how, or if there's something, short of us getting new town hall space, how to, if there's something we could add into here when we're allowing the use of town hall meeting space, if there's a policy we want to sort of put in place to protect the integrity of that office, and I don't know quite what to do. And I don't even know if we could do it now. I'm just bringing it up since we're talking about policy at the moment.
I don't think there's anything you can do about it right now.
So anyway, we will just,
Yeah, there ain't not much we can do right
well,
now.
for the
If they
moment,
need
we'll have to-
access, yeah, there's not.
so, but we're going to have to, whatever. I mean, I don't know, at the beginning of every meeting, maybe I say something, that we just make an announcement at the beginning of every meeting to please respect the integrity of the building
Well,
inspector's office. or-
Whoever is collecting the key, they would know whether or not they need handicap accessibility, and they take responsibility for that office.
But it even happens the nights we have meetings here, or the planning board has meetings here
Just put up a
and
sign.
stuff. Okay.
Put up a
Stacy
sign.
has a sign.
Did she put something up?
I think so, but
She did make an announcement at
she
the,
did, but I think maybe
Yeah.
it should be either bigger or
okay, so we'll figure something out, but I just wanted to bring that up right now.
You have an extra street sign, don't you?
Right, don't touch.
Just drill it right into the ground.
Okay, so now let me pull out did everybody get their assignments?
Yeah.
Everybody got their assignments? I think the one that you might have gotten tonight also might,
I didn't
okay,
get anything,
so
not when I checked at work.
Kevin, did you get?
I didn't get one of these.
I don't think you sent this out. It's not on the.
Yeah, I think actually I got mine because I came in. I don't
Oh,
know
'cause you
if it
came in?
mailed out, yeah.
Okay, Rosanna? Okay, let me share with Jean for the moment.
Sure.
Okay, let me share
Sure.
with Jean for the moment.
Here.
If everybody could look it over for now, Dan, does this one reflect the change of,
No.
yeah,
Just
that
has
should be,
one change needs to be made to it.
okay, so wait a second, so Dan, okay, Kevin, you're not on Bike Ped, Dan is on Bike Ped.
And then I think we were switching that for transportation implementation.
Well, it was CIT that I thought, transportation implementation is what Kitty had, and I thought you were taking Kitty's place on it.
Oh, I
But
wasn't aware of
does
that.
somebody else want to be on transportation? Well, I only didn't take that out because we haven't made a decision.
I'll tell you why. When you're done with Dan, I'll
Okay.
tell you why.
Okay. Does somebody want, I do serve on Transportation Implementation Committee. We also had a board member serve on it, too. Would another board member like to serve on that committee? I originally gave it to Dan because he was taking Kitty's place. He wants to be on Bike Ped. I don't hear any takers.
When do they meet?
Which meeting again?
Transportation Implementation,
TIP.
which is,
Rosanna, do you know?
it's a very good meet.
usually they meet fourth Tuesday of the month,
The fourth Tuesday.
but not this
Yeah.
month because
I was going to put down which one, but we ended up, bringing this, so fourth Tuesday. They're pretty,
I can handle that.
can you handle that?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great, because we tried to keep you limited in terms of.
Yeah, well, that's
evening
okay,
meetings.
because,
Okay, good. So, okay, thank you, Jean. So Jean's now going to become
You're welcome.
TIC. Okay. We are, if you'll notice on here, we're going to reconstitute the Recreation Committee, which Jeff and Kevin have been speaking about. And so I don't know if you guys want to sort of consider who you want to invite on, or if you want to put an ad in the paper,
Yes.
or you want to constitute the committee based on, you know,
We'll put an ad-
representation.
We'll put an ad in the paper.
We'll put an ad in the paper, but you also, I think, might want to have representation from the different sports that we give stipends to and stuff. So we'll do an ad, we'll get an ad together, but we want to get that going. We're recreating, we're going to reconstitute a senior citizens committee, of which Dan is going to be on. So we can start
That'll
doing,
be fun.
and we're also recommitting.
serious.
No, it's going to be,
Yeah.
we're going to do the senior, would you like to be on? But Jean, they meet during the day, the seniors don't come out at night.
Oh, no, I can't do
So
it.
Dan's going to be.
I'm just telling them it's going to be fun.
So we're putting the youngest member of the board on the senior citizen committee. But hopefully, we remember now correctly that we put money into the budget for a senior coordinator to help seniors with all the paperwork and stuff, so we'll work on that. But also, we put money in the budget to start offering free programs for the seniors who live in our community. For example, like right now, they go to the senior center, but they have to pay. But, you know, like up in Woodstock, they do like chair yoga for their seniors, and if you live in Woodstock, you don't have to pay. So we put money into our budget this year to sort of offer senior programming, so we'll start working on that with the senior committee that we constitute, what kind of programming they'd like to see, and let the seniors determine how they'd like to spend the money we put in. We're also reconstituting, which is already in the town code, chapter 17 of town code, the Industrial and Commercial Incentive Board. And it was established pursuant to 485B of the real property tax law of the town of New Paltz. And there's a whole way, it's 5 members who should be appointed by the town board, who will serve at the pleasure of the town board. There's, but it also has one of whom shall, okay, let me read this just real quick. Membership, the Industrial and Commercial Incentive Board, which I am appointing Kevin to chair, shall consist of 5 members who shall be appointed by the town board, who shall serve at the pleasure of the town board. One who shall at the time of appointment be a member of the town board of the town of New Paltz, one of whom shall be at the time of appointment be a member of the town New Paltz Planning Board, one who shall at the time of appointment be from the Environmental Conservation Commission, and 2 additional people who at the time of their respective appointments and through their term of appointment shall be electors residing with the town of New Paltz. Then there's fixed terms, which I don't have to get into. The chairperson shall designate, the town board shall designate the chairperson. So I hope, well, since the town board is supposed to designate as town law, would you all join me in appointing Kevin as the chairperson?
Second? Or, yes, he will do it, which is it?
Second.
Okay, so Jeff made a motion to appoint Kevin Barry as the Councilman Kevin Barry as the chairperson of the ICIB that we're reconstituting. Jeff made the motion, Jean seconds?
No,
Jean made the
I
motion?
thought, no,
Jen?
I only seconded.
Okay, who made the motion?
I did.
Okay, Jeff made the motion, Jean seconded it. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's so carried. So I just want to read you just quickly this powers and duties so you understand. The ICIB shall have the powers and duties prescribed by Section 45B of the real property tax law of the state of New York, and shall present a plan to the town board of the town of New Paltz concerning the various type of business, real property. You saw this, we sent this to you, right? Okay. Concerning the various types of businesses, real property, which should be granted eligibility from exemption pursuant to the provision of 45B of real property tax law of the state of New York. Such plan shall make recommendations concerning the applicability of the exemption to specify specific sectors and subsectors as defined in the North American Industry Classification System published by the United States government. Such plan shall also make a recommendation as to the manner in which such exemption shall be computed consistent with the provision of 45B of the real property tax law. Such plan shall identify specific geographic areas within such exemptions that will be offered. In developing such the plan, the ICIB shall consider the planning objectives of the municipality within which such exemptions may be offered, the necessity of the exemption to the attraction or retention of such businesses, and the economic benefit to the New Paltz community of providing exemptions to various types of businesses. In addition, the ICIB may make recommendations to the town board of the town of New Paltz with respect to actions which the ICIB deems desirable to improve the economic climate of the New Paltz community. The ICIB shall resubmit an annual report to the town board no later than the first day of October of each year concerning the activities of work of the ICB, and from time to time submit reports and recommendations as necessary to fulfill the purposes of this chapter, and they'll receive no compensation. So this seemed, Kevin has brought up, Councilman Barry has brought up to this board different things that he's been working on and ways that he thinks that we should be really analyzing the exemptions that the town of New Paltz, right now, that property owners take, don't take, should get, don't get. And since this has already been established, it's in our town code, this seemed to be the perfect vehicle for Kevin to undertake the work that he's been talking to us about over the past couple of meetings. So we're reconstituting this, and by the act of the board, we just appointed Kevin chair.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Look forward to it.
Get to
So I
work.
think this is a really good, this is going to be really beneficial to us in the work that we're trying to do to sort of make New Paltz a financially sustainable community. And so, so Kevin will have the ICIB. So other than that, Dan, I don't know if you noticed that we, before you make your comment, Dan.
Okay.
We did think that it was a good idea for a member of the board to possibly go to school board meetings and to go to village board meetings. Jeff took on the village board, so I sort of thought that you might want to periodically go to the school board meeting and visit your old stomping
Yeah, I
ground.
mean, I've been to a few of those before.
Okay, so we put you onto that, and we took you off of it, Kevin.
You don't have to stay the whole time.
So I don't know, Kevin, if you're upset that I took you off of it and gave it to Dan?
No.
Is that okay? Okay, so is there anything on here that anybody else has an issue with that they would?
The only- oh, go ahead.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry,
Okay,
just
go ahead.
community communications?
Oh, what we did was, yes, we actually, thank you for bringing that up. We used to have a public access committee. The Public Access Committee was very involved in negotiating the Time Warner contract and a lot of other things. They said that they feel that their work has been done, and they wanted to stop existing as a committee. We put together a communications committee because, you know, we do have a Facebook site. We don't really maximize it. We will be adopting a social media policy when we adopt our personal policy. But how we do our Facebook, we do still have need for public access in terms of issues time to time with that, and how we sort of want to communicate with the public on a bigger level. So we're reconstituting the Public Access Committee to be a communications committee, and we'll reconstitute that once we come up with a better definition of exactly, you know, what we want to do with that committee, of which I've appointed Dan, our social media expert and Facebook expert, and Dan and I will work together on coming up with a new mission statement for this committee.
Okay. sounds
Okay? So how
And I
does that
think even
sound?
beyond that, there actually is, although it is
And if you would like to join us, Jeff, you
No,
can.
thank you. But Kevin and I learned some interesting things doing some visits around in other towns, is there are other towns, because we do actually have the check came finally?
The check came $250-something thousand of money from Time Warner that we received for our
Construction fund.
construction fund being closed out, because most of New Paltz is built out. They kept, I can't remember if it's
We agreed-
30,000
well, we
or
agreed to
40 or something.
4 more roads or something,
I'm
4
sorry.
homes or something, potentially.
Yeah, so there is
We
some-
we have an agreement for a few.
Right.
But the point being is, at $250,000, it may be viable to look into getting our own equipment. Several other towns have their own equipment, their own filming equipment. They use volunteers to do it, and it
Well-
potentially could save a lot of
Yeah.
money. So I think there is a lot to do with that committee still, besides just
Yeah.
looking at.
I mean, we can certainly look at that, but I can say that when I was supervisor many moons ago, we actually had gotten the equipment, and we had our own equipment, which has since been
Yeah.
somehow disappeared long after I left. And we did used to use volunteers, and there were so many problems, so I think that's why sometimes the volunteers didn't show up. We used people from the college, we did whatever, and then at a certain point, because we really, and this was at the beginning when we first started televising meetings when I was supervisor, that, you know, in '96, and now it's a long time later, and we've been doing it for a long time, but it was problematic, and that's when we went to paid. But that's
Yeah, no,
something we
something
can talk
definitely to
about, right?
discuss,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Jean, you wanted to bring something up?
Yes, I am not being appointed to the Police Commission this year, and I think in light of what I've seen in the paper, that everybody has forgotten that I did not want the Police Commission last year, but I took it because nobody else would take it. So I am not agreeing to be the liaison to the Police Commission this year.
Okay, so two things. I think what you're referring to was that somebody made a statement in the paper recently that the town had no liaison to the police
Now,
commission?
if you look back at the tape, last January, I didn't want them, and I don't want them because the rank and file forgets who their biggest public safety supporter is. Same thing's happening now. It's okay, don't want them.
That's okay. For the moment, because we have not made a decision as a board where we're going with the commission, I did not feel comfortable taking it off because for the moment, we still have a commission. So I appointed Jean, but Jean is declining, so I think we can have this discussion after this board decides how we go forward with or with not having a commission, how we constitute the commission. If the commission is constituted with 3 board members, we don't need a liaison, so why don't we just leave that one until we make a further decision down the road?
Seems like a good
Fine.
idea.
Okay? I just did not want to take it off because, no, it is still a commission. Okay, so with that, is everybody happy with this?
The only other change on it is, actually, I have been going to the ZBA meetings, and I think it's a bad night for Kevin, I believe.
Well, I was actually going to
So-
see if...
Well,
if
the
you-
only reason being is because there's a lot that goes on between the planning board and ZBA.
Okay, so Kevin, are you
it's-
okay with taking yourself off the ZBA and putting Jeff
I've
on?
been going to them regardless, and just because it's a Monday, Tuesday, and so it just takes a
Okay.
couple days
Yeah.
away from me.
I mean, I think originally it was because of you, the fact that you work on Monday and Tuesday, and as a matter of fact,
Very
Carol and I
long days.
discussed it, and...
It's meant for long days, that's
Right,
it.
exactly. Carol and I discussed that because we were going to move you back on, and then we said, well, Jeff works and whatever, but
And
that's
I've
fine.
been going to them, and just because there's a
Okay.
lot, right, there's 2
Okay.
major applicants that are both going
Okay.
between planning board and ZBA.
Okay, so now, for the moment, though, as we move forward on this, I do know that sometimes it's hard. I mean, I miss committee meetings a lot, too, and a lot of us miss the meetings, but I do know that a lot of the committees, these are volunteers, they spend a lot of time doing work on our behalf, and I think it makes them feel really good when a board member's there and sort of validates the work that they do. So if there's a way that somebody thinks they can't make the meeting, if they could sort of like call me, and then either if I can try to go, or maybe another board member wants to go, but, you know, if we could all try to, myself included, be a little bit more, you know, try to make our meetings, and if things don't work, let me know, and we can always make changes, but I do know that some boards sort of feel like, you know, they don't feel the love, so if we can start to try to go a little bit more, that would be great. Okay, so with that, I don't think I guess it does need to be made as a motion. That seems so strange, though. Okay, does somebody want to second it?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried.
So can I have a copy now?
Yes, you can. And,
Thank you.
Well, Rosanna, you have the changes that we just made? Okay, there you go, baby. We'll
Thank
get
you.
you a corrected copy, okay? All formally constituted committees, commissions, and boards will keep minutes. And I think we have to sort of really get a little bit more on top of that, because I don't think we're getting minutes. We get minutes from the ZBA and the planning board because they have a paid staff, but we don't necessarily get the minutes from the commissions and the committees, so we're going to have to institute maybe.
Some are really
Right.
good about it, some.
So what I'll do is I'll send a letter asking everybody to please, you know, furnish us with minutes. And then we could also put those on the website. A draft of which must be presented to the chair within 10 days of each meeting, and a copy filed with the town clerk within 14 days of adoption. So if the filing with the clerk is in draft form, a final is to be filed after approval. So since we're adopting that, and I don't think we should change it, we'll just try to implement it a little bit more. So I'll send a letter to the committee chairs and commissions to ask them to comply, and say that we'd like to start getting those onto the website, so the public can know what the committees are doing. Okay, who would like to make a motion to authorize temporary investment of tax revenues by the supervisor?
So moved.
A second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay, conference attendance. Whereas Section 77-B, subsection 2, provides that the town board may delegate its powers to authorize attendance at such conferences to any executive officer or administrative board. Supervisor Zimmet will authorize such attendance. Okay, additional motions. How many of us are going to the Association of Towns?
That is going to be, I believe, the
It's
23rd.
always
Yeah,
President's Day.
President's Weekend. Gene, are you going to go again?
No,
You're not going to go?
no, thank you.
Okay. Jeff, you're not going to be having, Jeff, you
This
going to
is
go?
the 23rd, 24th, 25th, I believe?
Yeah, it's always President's Weekend.
President's Day is the 17th.
Is it?
Always,
This
you
year.
should double check, I think
Yeah.
it's, oh, actually, I should have it right here in the
Sorry, I
Association
thought I
of
looked at the
Towns.
schedule already.
It's that weekend.
It's always President's Weekend.
Right.
It's a,
Susan's right.
it's always President's Weekend. The 2014 Training School and Annual Meeting of the Association will be held at the Hilton, New York, Midtown New York City, February 16th to 19th. 2014, actually, it is the 16th to the 19th. And when is President's Day?
17.
17.
Okay, yeah, so that's when it is.
It is that one.
Okay.
Okay.
And so, Jeff, do you plan to go?
Let me look at the schedule.
Okay, why don't we-
Yeah, let me look at the
and Dan,
schedule.
do you
If I
wanna-
go, it would only be for one night. If
Okay,
I go, it
and
would just,
Dan,
I
do you
would just
wanna
do
go?
I
that.
don't think I could necessarily commit to it today.
Okay, so why don't we just do this? We've got this, why don't we just
see what
make the
courses are being
motion?
offered.
Here's the thing, why don't we make a, just the motion for the expenditure up to $2,000 for registration for lodging, meals, and travel to be authorized for members of the town board who wish to attend the 2014 association meeting in New York City. So this way we approve it, the money's there, it's in the budget, and then we can figure out who wants to go
So
in the
moved.
schedule.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we need you to designate Supervisor Zimmerman as the official representative to attend the annual business meeting. at the
So
Association.
moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay, Rosanna,
You have to do the credit card policy.
okay,
Yeah.
so we have a credit card policy.
You didn't have one before, so it's not in there.
Yeah, well, I don't know why, I guess,
Because you didn't have one. It's never been adopted.
but we do have one now that you sent us, and it was put on the web and shared with everybody. And so would you like to adopt that credit card policy? This is the one I think you got us.
I did. I wrote this. Is it?
Would you like to make the motion
No, I wrote it. I don't want to make the motion.
then? All right.
Would somebody else, I would like to make the
You can
motion
make
to
the
adopt,
motion.
I will make the motion to adopt the credit card policy as written and presented by Councilwoman Jean Galucci.
Second?
Would anybody like to discuss it? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. And this is what
Aye.
we're trying to do, again, is get policies in place and make sure we have policies. Now, also, one of the things that we, again, we're trying to get on top of all the records of the town, and there's paper all over the place, there's files missing, there's whatever. What we've learned is that there are other towns that, the town hall is open for the employees but closed to the public a couple of times a year to allow the employees to basically not have to deal with the public and basically lock down and go through all their files and make sure that we know what we're supposed to keep based on the state law of what you need to keep, how long you need to keep it, how you need to file it and stuff. And there's state law, and again, we'd like to start making sure we're doing everything right. And so what we would like to do is designate 3 days over the year. Rosanna and I worked on the days that we designate for Records Retention Day, where the employees need to come to work, but we're not open to the public, so we can all come in our dungarees, go through the files, mark the files, get rid of what we need to get rid of, put the things that we need to be put where they need to be put, and so we're in compliance with
Dungarees? What are those?
jeans.
Dungarees. When's the
And
last
other
time that term's
towns
been
do
used?
this?
Do you know what dungarees are?
I'm not going to answer this question. Yeah.
No, Carol's Department Store.
Right.
Carol's.
Big Ben's in City Big.
Upstairs in Carol's.
Oh, God, I'm
Downstairs
sorry
you get
that
the-
I,
From Jimmy.
I'm going to wear dungarees and everybody else is going to wear jeans.
Dungarees.
Okay, so what we would like to do is put into the policy that we do 3 days throughout the year for records retention where we close to the public for the employees to do it. The 3 days that we want to designate for this 2014 are,
March 28th, July 25th, and December 5th.
okay, is everybody in agreement with this? I'm sorry, what?
They're all Fridays.
They're all Fridays towards the end of the month, except for the December one. We tried to do it at the beginning. Okay?
Good.
So everybody okay with that?
Dungaree Day.
So moved.
Okay.
Second?
All in favor? Motion so carried.
One more
It's,
thing.
okay.
You had mentioned the other day about the supervisor's office retaining petty cash.
Oh, no, we decided not to.
Do we have a cash policy?
She's asking questions she knows the answer to.
Right.
I love it when she does that. I love it when she does
Ask and
it.
answer.
I wrote one.
Well, then if you wrote one, it wasn't in the file because we tried to pull every policy that we could find, which is why Rosanna said that we wanted to do a credit card policy because I pulled out the policy, but it wasn't in the shell because we didn't do it. So we're trying to correct all the
Okay.
problems of the past, Jean. So if you would like to
You
write
got a
cash-
lot of problems. I already wrote one.
Well, then we need to find it. We couldn't find it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be here and it would be on the agenda because we are taking
Okay.
every policy that you wrote or didn't write, and we're trying to adopt every policy we possibly can. So we have policies for our breathing of every moment in this building.
Right.
So we do it right. So would you like for us to bring the cash policy tomorrow for us to adopt? And we'll try to find it?
It's either a cash policy or a petty cash or both. I don't know.
Do you remember-
There were like 8 or 10 things in there.
Well, we already
I didn't redo procurement. The procurement policy is good.
okay, so the procurement policy, you're fine?
The,
No, she was saying that we were going to add the supervisor, and I said no, that we can take the supervisor's office out. So we're not going to do that. Is there anything else that in my shell that, when me and you went over it, that I added that's not on my copy?
Yeah, I
Last
think
year,
to Gene
you
about-
approved the prepayment of certain monthly bills.
Uh-huh, but we can do that tomorrow night. I don't know why
No.
we did that,
you should do that in your, the
we did that last- we
prepay
did that,
is
yes.
the
So why is that-
utilities
Didn't we do
and,
that last year? Wasn't that in the, should have been in the shell?
yes.
Because we
Can
did
you
that-
read it out loud?
Yeah.
One board member made a motion to approve the prepayment of monthly bills and health and dental insurance premiums and discounted invoices for the year. The monthly bills will include telephone, cell phone, electric, water and sewer, Time Warner, cable for Roadrunner, postage for Pitney Bowes, credit card accounts such as Lowe's, Sam's, Tractor Supply, Deer Park, Cold Spring, etc. The health insurance would include MVP, New York State health insurance, dental insurance, and VSP.
So we did that last year partly to start to not incur late fees.
No, you want to approve your, the prepays that Arlene has ready from Central Hudson and health insurance bills.
We
You want
did
to
that-
make sure
we did that
that
last.
that's in your reorg minutes.
Right, but we did that last year because we were having problems with late fees.
Oh, you mean to such an extent?
Yeah, we did it to such an
Right.
extent because we had so many problems when you and I came in.
Right.
There were so many late fees all the time because of the way because of the voucher, when we
Right.
got the bills and we got the vouchers and whatever. So we did that to try to start to get rid of the late fees that the town was incurring.
Right, because it's supposed to be utilities and phone.
Right. Now, I do know that Arlene is discovering more problems in terms of how things are not getting paid, how certain bills are going here, there, and there, and getting to her really
Right.
late, and we're still having
Right.
problems. So Arlene is going to Arlene, our bookkeeper, is going to make a recommendation to us for some more policies and procedures she would like to put in place to assure that bills get paid in a more timely manner. And so there's some stuff she's working on.
Good.
So Dan, would you like to make a motion to accept the prepay?
So moved.
Jean, would you like to second it?
No?
Okay, I will second it. Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Boy, do I have an ornery board tonight.
It's 4-1.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a no?
I was a no last year.
Okay.
We're not ordering, we're good.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, except Jean, no. Okay. Was there anything else, Rosanna? Okay, can I have a motion to,
Motion.
wait, hold, wait,
Chris has his
wait.
hand up.
Do I have to
Vehicle
kill
use
you?
policy.
Yeah, you need one of those.
Myself offered to write something up to
Yes.
submit to,
Which policy?
A vehicle use policy.
I know that was brought up last year. We
Yeah, and so, yes, we do want to have one, we want to have a policy for everything. The only thing I think Stacy and I, we are working on, remember, we didn't adopt the personnel policy 2 years ago, because when I first came in, we were told Jeff was unhappy with the policy, thought it wasn't comprehensive. We were supposed to work on it. Jean did write a personal policy last year that we just seemed to never get to. I've been spending the past couple of days looking at the personal policy Jean sent to us. I think it was Jeff got us the Town of Lloyd personal policy.
5 or 6, it's easier just to hire.
No. We'll see. Right now, Kevin, all I'm just saying is right now, I've spent a lot of time with Jean's policy and the Town of Lloyd policy. I've been meshing them to make them a policy that would work for us. I've been talking to Bill Wallens about certain things of which could be, which are legal and not legal. Stacy and Carol went over it today. There are certain things we still want to talk about. So what we're going to try to do is hopefully come up with something that we can get you in the next 2 days for us to discuss next Thursday. If we're not happy with it, we want to bring somebody in, but we think we might have something that we were able to pull together from all the documents we got between Jean and Jeff and Bill Wallens, so we might not have to hire somebody.
Just make an appointment with the company that's done them for other towns.
Yeah.
Bring them in, just
But-
for a meeting.
Yeah, but why would we want to spend $10,000, $15,000 to have somebody
Just-
draft one when we,
You might sit down with them and learn something when they come in to pitch you about.
And it might actually even be cheaper. Bill Wallens' company.
no,
Wallens-
we're not, all we're giving Bill, all we're doing with Bill is like there was certain language with.
No, I get what we're doing with Bill, I'm just, if you let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Wallens, Romer, and someone,
Yeah,
Manow.
well, Manow.
thank you, Renault. They actually have a division of their company that
Yeah.
writes personnel
Right.
policies. So we could entertain them for a bid.
We could, however, because you gave us the Town of Lloyd personal policy, which is very comprehensive. Jean gave us a personal policy that she wrote for the town of New Paltz that's very comprehensive, but I took both those policies, went through them. There were things in Jean's policy that I did not, what you had to think about what was being said, and so I went back to the Lloyd policy, and they had it more clear cut. Then I went back to our existing policy to make sure we weren't, that we were incorporating the right things. I called Bill on some of the health insurance stuff and the retiree stuff. Bill told me the language to put in and said send it to him for him to review. So I think we might be able to adopt a policy that's very comprehensive, that might have had a vehicle policy in there in a sense. So let me spend a little bit more time finessing this. Let me give it to you. If you guys don't want it, you want to rip it up and you want to hire somebody, we can do that. But hopefully by next week, we'll have something at least for everybody to review. Okay?
Yeah.
And then if you want to hire somebody, we'll bring somebody in to talk. But I think what we have is so comprehensive, they're like 34, 40 pages, where our personal policy before was like, 5 pages? And these personal policies are 40 pages. So they're really, really comprehensive, and, so hopefully by, I'll have it to you by the weekend, so you guys can review it for next week, and then if you want to hire somebody, feel free. I mean, I could just say, fine, I'll hire somebody and stop
Same thing
working.
happened with the website, same thing. You can bring somebody in,
Yeah,
so we'll talk.
yeah, okay, great. Okay, so with that, do I have a motion to,
Motion to adjourn.
do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion so carried.
Okay, and also-
We're now officially reorged.
Makes me sick. That makes me sick. Hey, Gene, can you just, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I need